Space. Vast, beautiful, unforgiving. In 1984, Cambridge University students David Braben and Ian Bell created the seminal space trading game, Elite. Elite was open-ended, had an advanced game engine and revolutionary 3D graphics. The world had never seen anything like it. 30 years have passed and David Braben has returned. Welcome to Elite Dangerous. Hi guys, Squirrel here, and welcome to my first look at Elite Dangerous Premium Beta. Top left that says Premium Beta 2.02, that's the version I'm on. I've had this game since Alpha. I was one of the Alpha backers, splashed quite a lot of money on it. But this game, Elite, is something special to me, hence why I just put a lot of effort there into giving you a nice little intro. Seriously guys, this game is part of my youth. It's the only way of putting it, and I remember the very first time I saw Elite being played and it just blew me away. It really did. I mean, the original Elite. This is actually the fourth incarnation of Elite. There have been two others, but David Braben got this one kick-started, and you know, he said in various devlogs he wanted to get back to the original concepts. He wanted to reboot the whole thing. Technology's moved on a long way in 30 years, and he felt like he just wanted to make the game that he's always wanted to make. In this video, I'm just going to give you a very brief overview of all the different systems, how things work, how the trading works, fire groups. Then we're going to take a flight and we'll buy and sell some stuff. I won't get into combat in this video. I'm going to do future videos where I'll specialize in navigation and combat and all that kind of good stuff. This game has got quite an interesting future, I think. Anyway, we'll talk more about that in a minute. So first of all, the first thing to look at is we're docked. Okay, so I'm in what's called a hauler ship. If I just look to the right there, you can see there's my balance, the number of kills, my current crime status, and whether I've got a bounty on my head. And I'm in a hauler craft ship which has a cargo capacity of 16 slots. You can see down the bottom there it says 0 out of 16. When you start this game, in typical Elite fashion, you start with a very small craft which has 4 units of cargo, and you start with 100 credits, and from there you have to build everything up. It's interesting, and it's not for the faint-hearted. It can be quite tricky sometimes, and you do get destroyed. You can play this game how you want. You can play it as a pirate, you can be a bounty hunter, you can be a trader, you know, just play it how you want. But let's just get into some stuff here. We're in Chango Dock. Now Chango Dock is a starport outside of Chango Planet. If I go into support services, I can then visit the market, which is down here, commodities market, and I can buy and sell stuff on the commodities market. Very simplistically, they demand certain things and they supply certain things. In typical market fashion, if there's a high supply of stuff, like there is here for algae, you can see the price is 24. They have a very big supply of that. Then the galactic average is 45. You go somewhere that demands algae and you'll get higher than 45. You go somewhere that supplies algae, you'll be able to buy it for lower than 45. Simple supply and demand. You move the goods from here to somewhere that needs it and you reap the profit. Not very complicated at all. The trick, however, is to work out what kind of planet demands what kind of margin you can make, And that's always been the bastion of elite in trading, is working out how to make the biggest profit. Now, I happen to know, for example, here that fish, although it's quite a low supply, this price for fish you can see is low. I'm going to basically stock up on a whole lot of fish. It's just about the best thing that I can take out of Chango to where I'm going to be going. What I'm going to be bringing back is these things, progenitor cells. You can see the galactic average there is 6,400. These things will pay 6,800. I can get them for just around the 6,000 mark, so I can make 800 credits on each one. Very, very lucrative deal, that one. So I'm going to take some fish and I'm going to bring back progenitor cells. That's it. There's lots of stuff that they demand here. You can go through all of it. It's all categorized down. In particular, what you're not seeing so much of is a lot of the you've got metals, but there's lots and lots of minerals. You can go and get minerals by mining them from, you know, outside the rings of various planets, or you can go and buy it from directly straight from the docks outside of mining colonies. This game is being expanded all the time, but that's where it's at the moment. There are some metals and some minerals you can move around, but not a great deal. Repairs is where you repair your craft. Munitions is where you can replenish your stock of, say, homing missiles or rounds if you've got guns. Outfitting is where you can... Now if I just back up here, you can see that's what my hauler looks like from the outside. Each craft has a different number of hard points, utility mounts and bulkheads. You know, every craft is different basically. This one has one class 2 hard point, which basically means I can put one weapon on here up to class 2. If you get something like an Anaconda, that will have, I think, 8 hard points on it, and each one will go up to class 6 or something like that. It's like the transit van of the elite world. It's got one gun to defend itself, but in all honesty, you're not going to defend yourself that much. If I click on buy, you can see all the different things I could attach are enabled in blue. The rest of them either I can't afford, or for example class 4, I can't fit that to this hard point. What's available here depends on the planet that you're at. I just happen to be at a very, very high-tech place, Chango Dock. Chango's a lot like Earth. When we get out, you'll see it. But I've got a class 1 gimbaled pulse laser on there. Gimbaled lasers, basically gimbaling means that the weapon will remain locked onto your target even if you're not quite aiming at it. Whereas if you've got a fixed one, you've got to be aiming directly at the target to hit it. A gimbal basically lets you hit it even when you're facing slightly away, that the gun or the laser will continue to lock onto your target and let you carry on firing accurately. So gimbals are obviously much better than a fixed. I could upgrade to a class 2 gimbal laser, except they don't make them. For some reason, they only make class 3 gimbal beam lasers and class 1 gimbal beam laser. I could upgrade to a class 2 fixed beam laser, but I don't like fixed beam over gimbaling. Anyway, the difference is the kind of power draw and obviously the damage output. But, you know, you get an idea of the kind of weapons you can get. You can get field maintenance units. They'll repair your modules if they're damaged during combat. And alloys will obviously protect your hull. Now, the way it works, if I just get out of here... just to show you the shipyard before we do that. The shipyard is where you buy craft, and you can see... You start with this, a Sidewinder. You can always get a Sidewinder for nothing. It's never a problem. If your ship's destroyed, you can just go back straight to a Sidewinder for no credits at all. You will lose any cargo you had on it, and you'll also lose any weapons you put on it. However, when you're destroyed, you can pay an insurance premium to have everything brought back to you apart from the cargo. So that's often worth doing, but if you can't pay the insurance, well, you're back to square one. That's the brutality of Elite. Now, you can see I've got the hauler, which cost me 52,000. The next step up from the hauler is the Cobra Mark III. Now, the Cobra Mark III is an interesting ship compared to the hauler. It has the same 4 hard points. It has the same cargo capacity of 16, but it has 4 hard points instead of 1, so it's also a lot smaller and faster. It's more like the Sidewinder you're used to, but can carry a lot more with more weapons. It's great for solo play, great for, you know, flying around and being able to protect yourself. The Heavy is the monster. I think it's 256 cargo capacity in that one. They don't sell an Anaconda here for some reason, so I can't buy an Anaconda. I can't afford it yet anyway. Contacts is interesting. If you've got dodgy goods, you can sell it on the black market, and you can also pay off any fines that you might have. They're not fully implemented yet, as is fuel's not fully implemented yet either. But if you pick up somebody else's cargo, perhaps because you destroyed them, if you find it or you buy stuff that's illegal like narcotics, you'll need to go to the black market to shift it. Bear in mind that you could get scanned on the way in, and if you're scanned, you'll be found out, and then you'll either be issued with a fine or they'll attack you. Unless you go to somewhere that doesn't have any rules, of course, but in which case the prices might be different. Now, I want to go, let me just quickly show you the galaxy map here. You'll see how big this thing is. Seriously, it is insanely big. Now, the original Elites had 8 galaxies, and each galaxy had 256 planets in it. Well, as you can imagine, things have changed slightly. Here we are on Ibutis, and you can see down here from the information what kind of Ibutis is a democracy, it's industrial, who its allegiance is, and the population, okay? Every star system is different. Each one of these represents a star system, and around the star will be, you know, planets. Around the planets could be starports, there could be mining colonies, all kinds of things. As we zoom out, you can see this is the current bubble in Premium Beta. We can't fly outside of this yet. All this stuff is not populated. But just to give you an idea of scale, if I want to go from Ibutis to Acellus Prime, it's 8.2 light years. 8.2 light years. In fact, you see that number up here that says 10? Each one of these squares is 1 light year, which means this bigger square here is 10 light years. So, you know, we can hyper jump that, it's not a problem. But we will have a range on our ship, and you can see as I zoom out again, I get even bigger squares. Again, the number is 100. That's 100 light years. And you may be thinking, 100 light years? That's going to take quite a few jumps to get across. Yes, it is. But it doesn't stop there. That's 1,000 light years, which is a very big place. And we're not finished yet. Now we have 10,000 light years, and that's still just one grid. So you can see that this galaxy is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 10. It's 60,000 light years across. And within that, you'll be able to go and explore. I assume the way this is going to work is they're going to expand this bubble gradually over time and populate the planets and the star systems. But just on a sheer scale, that's pretty big. But, you know, it's modelled after a real galaxy. And, of course, our own system, our own universe, has 100 billions of these. So, you know, I'm not saying we're insignificant, but we are insignificant. So anyway, over here is, I could click on, I want to go to what's called Owlin. Owlin has this wonderful place outside called Owlin Starport. And Owlin Starport is that amazing spinning structure that you might have seen on the intro to the video. Now the way it works is the current system I'm in, which is Ibutis, I can see around it that there's Chango, that's the planet, Chango Dock, which is what we're in, an unidentified signal source, which is flying around Chango, we could go and visit that. There's also another system here called BCD, and again that's got various things with unidentified signals around it. Yeah, Dustball, Maya Prime, that's the system we're in at the top. After that, it lists places that I've been to, so I can just instantly look them up. So recent places I've gone to, Owlin, Styx, Aranin, that kind of thing. I'm going to go to Aranin. If I click that, I can click Lock Destination. That is now set as my destination. I'm now ready to go. If I wanted to go somewhere that wasn't in my recent list, I'd have to go on that galaxy map and do it. Okay, so I've got Track IR turned on, as you might have worked out here, so I can look around like that. If you don't have Track IR, there are hotkeys to access this, this, and this. You need to go and look up the commands. Now, your control system, there's a lot of controls. Let's just not beat around the bush here. There's a lot of controls for you to learn and map, and I will cover those in a separate video because they are detailed, and getting the best out of them takes time. But this is a first look video, so I'm not going to cover that. Now, I've got something called voice attack running. Voice attack allows me to give audible commands. For example, I can go, Amy?
Yes, Commander.
And you'll see my voice attack talks back to me. Now this is all very, very clever, but what I've got it set up to do is to take care of a lot of the systems that otherwise I would need to press buttons for. Now you're going to hear me talk to Amy as we do various things, and again I shall explain how to set all that up and do it in a different video, not in this video. So right, for first of all, I'm going to click launch. That's going to take me up to the launch pad. I need to be ready to start thrusting upwards and forwards, because once the launch pad releases me from its mag locks, I'm free inside this starport. Okay, so it's going to release now. There we go, and I'm moving up.
Engines engaged.
Now you can see down the bottom right there's another player who's obviously struggling. So what you want to do is basically stay out the way, because he's probably detonating himself right now. In fact, I think he has. Yep, that's pieces of another player. We need to stay away from all the wreckage. This can happen quite a bit. You can see there's a side runner there taking off in front of me. I need to orient myself without hitting anybody else. Launch.
Launch sequence initiated. Landing gear retracted.
Now you can see it's getting very busy and there's a lot of noobs around. This is the nature of it. If you hit them, you can potentially destroy your ship, so you do have to be careful. That's where I'm going, Owlin, but that's where he's going as well. So I'm going to fly off in a different direction as a little tip for you. And also, we can have a look at the planet here. You can see how Earth-like that is. Why am I flying off in a different direction? Hang on a second, let's just power my engines. You see down the bottom though, it says 134, that's my top speed. Watch this. Power engines.
Power diverted to engines.
And I can do that again. Power engines. Power engines.
Power diverted to engines.
There you go. I've now got full power on my engines, and the mass lock sign is gone, which means I'm not mass locked anymore. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to head back towards Owlin and engage my jump drive. Jump drive.
Jump drive sequence initiated. Charging FTL drive.
Power normal.
Power now balanced.
Okay, what I did there was I obviously put all of my power into my engines. Let's just get the countdown up.
4, 3, 2.
Okay, now we're going superluminal. We're going faster than the speed of light many times. We're jump drive. There's two methods of transport, jump drive and supercruise. This is how we get from system to system, and supercruise is what we use to get around a system. So it immediately throws us outside of the star, and what I need to do is just get away from that before my ship overheats. Let's lock on to where we want to go to. So if we go up here now, we're now in Owlin, and I want to go to Owlin Enterprise. So I'm going to click on that, lock destination. That now appears, you see in front of me, right in the center of my screen, is my radar, if you like. It's like a 2D, 3D radar composite. But just to the top right there, it says I'm doing 8C. You can see that square on that circle, that yellow square. That's my target. I need to orient myself so that I'm heading towards that. There we go. Now I'm just going to slow down here while I explain a few things. 5.0 is 5 times the speed of light. You can see that this is 33 light seconds away. I need to keep my speed roughly about a tenth of that. Now that can be hard to work out, but what it's saying is if I'm 10 light seconds away, I need to be about 0.1 of a C down there. You need to divide it by 10. You'll get used to the idea, but what you're trying to do is keep your speed down at the bottom end of that blue bar. When it says 0.3 C and there's a blue zone, you need to keep your throttle just at the bottom end of that blue zone. It will then auto throttle you towards it. Otherwise, if I go too quickly, let me show you what happens. If I go too quickly, I'll get a slow down warning. Even if I back off now, I won't be able to slow down. I'm going to overshoot the system. Yeah. Now, obviously, you can impact this planet if you're not careful. So I'm going to try and be careful here. Like I said, this is just a quick overview. It is a little bit more complicated to navigate properly. Once you get under 30,000 kilometers away, it drops down to kilometers in distance terms. And again, I need to keep my speed about a tenth of that. So if that's so in 12,000 kilometers, I need to show down here about 1.2 thousand kilometers, just to keep it at about a tenth, otherwise we'll overshoot. When we get to under 1,000 kilometers away, you can then come out of super cruise mode and you'll then enter normal propulsion, and we'll see that in a second. Once this gets to under 1,000, you see safe to disengage. You press the disengage super cruise key and you come out of super cruise. Went over that very quickly, but don't worry, I'll cover that in future videos. The point is that you can hyper jump from star to star, and then you can super cruise from star to planets. That's the principle you need to remember. Now we're back in normal space mode, so normal speed is resumed. This is Owlin Enterprise. You can see it's a fantastic starport. It rotates, it just looks wonderful, it's like something out of Kerbal. As I start flying over, I'm just going to talk about a few things. Now, obviously there's no up in space. There is no concept of up in space. The first thing you have to work out when you're approaching a starport is where the entrance is. Now, for a dodecahedron, which is those 20-sided starports that we just came out of Chango in, they'll have an axis of rotation. Like this has an axis of rotation in front of us. If I go like that, the axis of rotation is vertical as we're looking at it. So either the entrance is on the top or the entrance is on the bottom. It's always on its axis. So either it's going to be right up there or it's going to be right down there. And that's how it will be for any starport. In order to work it out, you need to look for some clues. For a normal starport, you'll quite often see ships coming out of the entrance, or you'll see billboards floating outside. Just look for those clues, and when you get closer, you'll actually see flashing red lights on the other end, which is the non-entrance port. I'm going to speed up and head down here because I happen to know that this is where the entrance is. Bottom right there of the 3D panel, you see it says 60. That's my current speed, which is 60 kilometers a second. I can accelerate this thing up to a maximum of about 134 as its top speed. A Cobra or a Sidewinder will do more than 200, no problem at all. But this is a transport ship, so you expect it to be slow. Just to the right of that, those 3 blue rings, that's my shield, and underneath that it says hull 100%. When I start getting hit, I'm going to lose my shields. Once my shields are gone, I'll start taking hull damage. If my hull goes down to 0%, quite simply, my ship will detonate, game over. Well, not quite game over, but my ship will detonate and all my cargo in it. And I'll have to buy my ship back via insurance, or start again. Targeting. If I target that thing in front of me now, you can see bottom left, it's now shown a 3D model of it, and just to the left it says Orbis Starport, 9,600 meters away, or 9.6 kilometers. We can see what kind of jurisdiction this is, and so on and so forth. I'm just going to head down here, and then we'll see how we dock. Now, so many people get confused. So many people get confused about how to dock in this thing. Oh, you can see there's another contact in front of us. You see the ship? Dead ahead. He's just out of range of my radar at the moment, but you can see he's also going to be docking. There he is. He's just appeared now. You see how it's flickering on my 3D panel? This is a good opportunity to show you how this system works. So I've got a flat disc in front of me, and the reason they're up on stalks is because he is higher up than me. If I pull back and aim for him, you'll see how it comes back down again. And if I go below, like that, it draws underneath. So that is how it represents the vertical space on this flat disc in front of us. That's how I know whether he's above me or below me. And obviously, if I twist right and twist left, that's how it rotates. So basically, once you get used to it, this 3D positioning system will show you where something is relative to you. If it's flickering, it means it knows there's something there, but we don't know what it is yet. We need to get closer to get a lock on it. Right, now, the typical noob thing to do when you come up to a starport, and trust me, everybody does it, is they try and fly straight in. But this starport, or any starport, will not let you just fly in. You need landing clearance. You need to be assigned a landing pad, and they also want to check if you're actually friendly or foe, that kind of thing. I have a clean license. I'm a neutral allegiance, so they won't have a problem with me landing here. But how do we do it? Here's what we do. Once we're with it less than about 7 kilometers away, we look over here, and we go to the next tab there, which is contacts. And there'll be everything that's around us will be listed here. Owlin Enterprise is in white because it's a starport. We click on it and we say request docking. Once we do that, a docking request will be sent to the starport and hopefully it will be accepted.
Request granted.
Okay, bottom down there, proceed to landing pad 1, and we've got a 10-minute timer. We've got 10 minutes to land. So let's get to it. Now there are techniques about landing, but essentially you want to match the rotation and you want to fly your craft right through the blue thing. Always be on the lookout for ships coming out like that. Is he coming out? Yes, he is. No, he's going in. You do not want to collision, guys. I've had ships detonate on me because, quite frankly, noobs, and there are a lot of them around right now. That's an Anaconda, by the way. Very, very expensive ship. An amazing ship, that one. I think it's got 16 hard points on it. One day I shall have one. You can see the detail inside here. You can see, because this thing's spinning, it's got its own gravity, it's got its own atmosphere, and you can see transport moving around the roads. It's utterly fantastic. But I need to get my landing gear out, okay? So hang on a sec. Landing.
Landing sequence initiated. Landing gear deployed.
I know my landing gear is deployed because if I look to the right over here under functions, it says lights off. They should be on, and my landing gear is deployed. You cannot land without your landing gear, obviously. I happen to have voice attack doing it, but you can just map a key to put your landing gear. Now the trick here is to line up with the pad. If you want to come at it roughly like this, and you'll see a diagram below now showing you where you are relative to the pad. You want to get yourself lined up horizontally first, like that, and then as you get over the top of the center, get ready to vertically thrust downwards, and you're docked. I made that look easy. If you look around, you'll see so many people smashing into their landing pads. It just takes time to get used to, trust me. Anyway, we go to Starport Services, and we shall be able to sell that fish, and you'll see the profit margin now. So we go to Commodities Market, and here we have the fish. Now you notice under cargo it says I've got 16, so click on that. And the great thing about this is it tells us how much we paid for it. So we bought that for 551. They will buy it from us for 682. So when we click sell, it even calculates the profit, which is just so nice of it to do that. It's a little thing, but it's really important. So if I just sell all 16, I made a profit of 2,000 credits on that run. Now, I don't need to buy fuel yet. Fuel is not currently implemented in the premium beta, but fuel will be implemented very, very soon. And when it does, I'm going to have to consider fuel, and if that's a cost for me, and if that comes out of my profit. Also, fuel will restrict my jump range, and that will depend on a lot of factors, such as my ship. But I'll be able to upgrade my fuel tanks, I'll be able to hold extra fuel in my cargo if I want to, transfer it to the main tank on my ship, and go further. I'll also be able to upgrade weapons, upgrade engines, all kinds of stuff is going to be possible. Right, now, progenitor cells, these are the real profit ones here. Look, 6,035, I can buy from them from 6,038. How many should I buy? I can take up to 16, but I can't afford it for 16. The most I can get is 11. 11 would leave me with 6,000 credits, okay? Now, you do have to be careful about sinking all of your money into all of your cargo, because bad things happen in space, and if you get shot down, you lose all your money. Consider how much you'll have left and how long because that will impede your trading ability, yeah? And also you need to have enough money left for insurance if your ship is destroyed. So considering all these factors, I'm just going to drop back to 10. I'm going to leave myself with enough credits so that I can buy my ship back and have some money left over to trade. Trust me, I've been stung by this once, and it took me hours and hours and hours to get back into the game, into this state where I'm in now. So you don't want to do that. Once bitten, twice shy. That's all the stuff bought. Where am I going to take it to? I'm going to take it back to Ibutis, which was the place we're at. But I just want to show you the outfitting here. Remember I told you about the kind of technology we're at? Look at the difference. Look how much stuff is available here. So when you are upgrading, you will need to go to a high-tech station in order to buy the best equipment available. But let's exit that and let's navigate back over here. So I want to go to Ibutis. So I'm going to lock that as destination. And while we're here, I told you about contacts. Sub-targets, what sub-targets are is when you've targeted somebody, okay, you look over here and you will scan their ship and a list of targets will appear on the target itself. That will be things like the shield generator, the power plant and so on. And you can target individual systems to try and knock those offline. Works perfectly if you've got things like gimbaled weapons because they will aim directly for that point for maximum damage. So that's what that's for. And over on the right there, we've got the status of our ship, we've got the modules that are on our ship, and this is the same as what you'll see on the targeted subsystems. We can prioritize these so that, for example, if we start getting hit and we're losing power, and we can't power all the systems, we'll put that on priority 2, the frame shift drive, so that would then lose its power first before all the others. Do you see what I mean? You just prioritize how you want the ship to turn systems off should there not be enough power, because the power plant's taking damage. Fire groups I shall cover later in other videos. That's our current cargo. And these are all the different parts of our ship. For example, we can turn the lights off, or we can turn the lights on. You can't see it very well here. Whether we want the flight assist turned on, I'll cover that in another video. Rotational correction I could show you now. We'll just have to launch to show you that one. In fact, let's do that. Rotational correction is the onboard computer adjusting your ship to match the rotation of the station that you're in. Basically, rotational correction is turned on by default. Let me show you what happens if you turn it off.
Ship released.
Let's get ourselves into some clear space like that. Now, if I just stop there, you'll notice when we're inside the starport, you'll see how we're not rotating. We know this thing's turning, but we're not. That's because the onboard computer is matching rotational correction. If I turn that off, we're now stationary, and that starport is now turning around. You see? So it kind of helps to have it on, I find. It just makes it easier. Launch.
Launch sequence initiated. Landing gear retracted.
There we go. Now you do need to be careful when you take off out of here, because pirates are often kicking around and they'll try and destroy you. So what I don't do is, I'm not, as I said before, I'm not going to head where all the other ships are. I normally head away from the ships. I go somewhere completely different like that. Power engines. Power engines.
Power diverted
Power
to engines. Power diverted to engines.
So I've got maximum thrust. You see how it says mass lockdown there? I'm trying to get away from all other mass, be it ships or the starport, so that I can make my hyper jump. If there are pirates around, they'll often be cloaks. They'll be using like a stealth mode where they power all the systems down. And again, I'll explain that in another video. Jump drive.
Jump drive sequence initiated.
You can tell if there's one of those around, because that will charge very, very slowly. Power normal.
Power now balanced.
If that starts powering up slowly, you've got mass around you. In order to make the jump drive, you need to be fully thrusted up, and you need to be heading for the destination. So we just move up now. The exit vector is up here. Once we hit it, we'll lock. Now we're locked onto the jump drive. So this will take us back to the Ibutis Star, and we'll be able to then navigate back over to Chango Dock. Now down on the right there, you'll see it says Sys, Eng and Wep. You've got 3 power systems on board the ship essentially. Bottom left says 132%. We need to get away from that star, it's making us too hot. See there, the temperature, we need to get away from there. Otherwise we'll start to take hot structural damage because we're overheating. I'm going to select Chango Dock. I'm going to lock Chango Dock. It's over here. And we're now in super cruise mode automatically, hence why we can go superluminal. The 3 systems are systems, engine and weapon. And you've seen me divert power to engines. In combat, you'll probably divert power to weapons just before you start shooting. That will not make them do more damage, that will improve the temperature reduction time. So obviously when you use a weapon it starts to overheat, and when it gets too hot it will shut down until it's cooled down again. If you power weapons, it will try and cool them down more aggressively at the expense of engine power and system power. System power is what's powering your shields. If your shields get taken offline in combat and you want them to come back on as quickly as possible, you need to divert power to the systems so that it recharges the shield capacitors. That in essence is what you're doing. Power normal just means putting an even distribution across them, and a lot of people don't seem to understand how to divert power properly, so you can often either catch up or get away from people because you know how to use your engine power properly and they don't, and it's the same with the weapon power. So that's a little tip for you, is learn how to use those 3 systems. Now, what I haven't talked about so much is the game itself. It's currently in a premium beta. What that means is we went through an alpha stage, okay, where only alpha backers could play the game. I didn't bring the game to you then because, well, frankly, there wasn't really enough content to show you. It wasn't mature enough, in my opinion. Now it's at a premium beta stage, and it's in the closing hours of its premium beta. The premium beta ends on July the 29th. At that point, it will go into beta stage. Now what beta stage means is anybody that's purchased the beta copy of the game, which costs about £50 I think, will be able to play from January the 9th. Currently the only people who can play are alpha backers and premium beta backers. However, if you're an alpha backer or a premium beta backer, What it also means is you will get all the future expansions of the game for free, but it does cost more. I think premium beta is £100 and beta is 50. Now this is an interdiction. I need to stop talking a second because that means another ship has entered my area and thrown out of superluminal light speed. It could be a federal ship, which it probably is, but I'm still going to power away anyway. Yeah, look, federal security service prepared to be scanned for crimes, pilot. That's fine. I'm going to back off. I've got a clean license and I haven't got any dodgy cargo, so they'll scan me now.
Detecting hostile scan.
There you go. They won't find anything. I've got a clean license, so they'll leave me alone. If I had narcotics or whatever, something illegal, or I was wanted, they would start to hunt me down. Alternatively, that could have been another player, and they might start attacking me, in which case I would need to know how to get away quickly. So what I would have done is got them so they're directly behind me, which is like that, and then I would have gone power engines. Power engines.
Power diverted
Power engines.
to engines.
I would have put maximum power into engines. Power engines. Power engines.
Power diverted
Okay,
to
voice type
engines.
problem. And the other thing is you've got like an afterburner type thrust, which I can press like this. Look at my speed. You use all those techniques to get away as quickly as you can so that you can do this. Power normal.
Power now balanced.
Engage super cruise.
Initiating super cruise.
Okay, so now get back into superluminal travel.
Ready to engage.
So I need to throttle up.
4, 3, 2.
That will engage our super cruise drive. At which point
Temperature critical.
we can start accelerating again at superluminal speeds. So currently premium beta and alpha people are the only people playing the game. And premium beta is only available until July the 15th, which at the time of making this video is about 3 days away. So if you want to splash 100 quid on the premium beta and play now all the way through the end of July and have access to all future expansions, you'll need to be quick. You've only got 3 days to buy it. After that, you'll have to buy the beta, which is 50 quid. That'll give you access to beta, but not all of the expansion packs. However, the expansion packs are available for a further £35, but that won't be available forever either. Final release, it'll cost £35, but we don't have a release date yet. So there's your purchasing options. Like I say, I dropped a lot of money on alpha. It was £200, which is an insane amount of money. But I have a love for this game and have a deep respect for David Braben and what he brought to me back in my youth, and I felt that I wanted this project to succeed, so I dropped the whole £200 on the alpha to try and get this thing off the ground. It was originally kickstarted successfully. I think he got £1.5 million in the end. Just wondering what those two contacts are there. Cobra Mark 3s, so they're probably other players, but they're moving away from me. That's fine. Just don't want to be attacked. Not with all this very, very expensive cargo on board. In fact, I think power engines. Power engines.
Power diverted to engines.
Power engines. Oh, she's not behaving today. Amy.
Yes, Commander.
I'm lonely.
Would you like to talk, Commander Squirrel?
Thanks.
You're welcome, Commander Squirrel.
You can program this thing to do whatever you want. It's just hilarious. But yeah, I have a deep respect for David Braben. I have a love of this game. I dropped maximum money on it because I just want this to succeed. Now you can see I'm making an entrance here. Look at the four corners. You can see the flashing red lights. You see them? This is the back entrance to Chango. I don't want this. It means it's on the exact other side. And when I said it was a dodecahedron, I was completely talking rubbish. It's not a dodecahedron, it's a decahedron. It's 12-sided. A dodecahedron's 20-sided, I think. Anyway, let's come around the other side, and there's another player leaving there, so we could target him just to see what he's got on board. Oh, it's not another player, it's the billboards. Now, the roof, if I look up, you can see I can't see a great deal. When I was in the Sidewinder, I can look up and see huge amounts, but not in this thing. This thing has a... doesn't even have a sunroof on this thing. It's literally a transit van. Oh, there's another plane. Sidewinder. I'm going to scan him. There you go. Commander Firestarter. Clean license. If I had a cargo scanner, I could scan his cargo as well. Now remember, always remember, you need docking permission. Docking request sent. Amy?
Yes, Commander.
Docking. Docking.
Docking sequence initiated.
What's wrong with it
Lights
today?
on. Power normal.
There you go. So that's what I normally do before a dock. You can get voice attack to do multiple steps. You can effectively... It's a bit like having a sequence of things that you want to do. So I can just say docking and just start turning my lights on. She'll reduce my power to normal. You know, all these different things. You can make it do whatever you want. Essentially what she'll do is receive the voice command and then press keys, whatever keys I want, which I've got shortcutted in the game. And that'll, you know, like I say, if I go over there now, I should see that my lights are on. She did that automatically for me. Same thing when I do this. Landing.
Landing sequence initiated. Landing gear deployed.
She'll deploy landing gear, all that kind of thing. It's a bit like... whoa, 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 whoa. I think I nearly hit the ramp then. Right, you wait and you see the profit when we get in here. It'll be quite juicy. Cool. Starport services. Now then, this is where we've made a lot of money. The thing is, money makes money. So I can buy expensive things now and I can make more money off the back of that. The margins are greater. When you start out with 100 credits, you're going to be shoving algae around, quite frankly. Anything that's cheap, hydrogen fuels. But I'm now at the stage where I can start moving around progenitor cells. And you can see I bought them for 6,038. I'm selling them for 6,819. Each one is netting me 8 times the profit I started the game with, yeah? So when I sell all 10, almost 8,000 credits, boom. That means next trip I make, I can buy an extra one and still have my safety margin. All the way up till I get 16, and then going to be making 16 times 800 every go, which is a lot of money. And that is essentially how you get all the way up to ships like that one, the Type 9 Heavy, which costs 1 million credits. I can't afford that yet. I'm still trying to make my first 100,000. But, you know, I've played this game enough now to be able to show you lots and lots of stuff. Only things I haven't showed you yet are combat. Combat is another thing entirely. I did show you some combat in the intro sequence. But currently, if you want combat, you can either just go and attack players, or you can go to, if you want combat, let me just explain how you do it, in case you go and buy this game and you want to know how. What you do is you fly to a system called Erenin. It's a star system called Erenin, which you should see here. Okay, so you fly to Erenin, and when you get there and you look on the local points around, you've got the planet, the starport, and you've also see conflict zone. Now, what the game's going to be about is this. You see these little boundary lines here. Everywhere where there's a boundary line, like, is basically control between perhaps the Empire or the Alliance or whatever. The different powers of control will be wrestling along these power lines, and basically when you go to Erenin, you can go to one of the conflict zones. You can super cruise out to one of the conflict zones, and when you get there, you then pick a side. And the way you pick a side, because this isn't explained very easily anywhere, the way you pick a side, get to the conflict zone, and where it says faction, you'll be able to click on that, and it'll say Erenin or Federal. Yeah, you can choose a side, and then you basically, on the map there, everything will either turn green or red. Shoot anything red, and anything green is on your faction, basically, and just shoot stuff. You know, try not to die. If you get the killing blow on things, then you will make money. You'll get paid like 500 credits or 200 credits, depending on what you blew up. Bear in mind that if you take damage, you're going to need money for repairs and stuff, so it's not all profit, but you know, you can see I had a decent go at it. I managed to get 12 kills. I actually did a lot more than that, but at the moment, it's only the person that does the killing blow actually gets the kill. So you get a lot of kill stealing going on, so it's quite tricky to get a kill. Like if I do 90% damage on someone and somebody gets the killing blow, they get all the money. So it is a little bit annoying, and I hope they change that. Fire groups, briefly, when you buy different weapons, you can put them into different fire groups so that you can have primary and alternate firing, or you can have all your lasers on one button, all of your missiles on another button. That's what fire groups are all about. That should pretty much cover... Oh, the only one other thing is this place here, which I did show you briefly in the video. That was the one that had the kind of ring. Sorry, that was the one that had the rings around it. That's where all the mining is currently done. And if you want to go and visit that, feel free to do so. It's a very beautiful place. It looks like Saturn, but with mining rings around it. And in theory, what you'll be able to do is take your ship over with your mining lasers and be able to mine it. If you remember the original game, you'll know what I mean when I say mining lasers and stuff. Anyway, that is the end of my first look of Elite Dangerous Premium Beta. There's a lot of stuff in there now. It's come a long way, and it's going places. Quite literally, this thing is going places. I hope you'll back it. I hope you'll play it. Hopefully, I shall see you online, either as a friend or foe. Towards the end of the month, when beta starts, they're bringing in communication between players. So you'll be able to have voice comms between players in-game. You'll be able to hail people, and you'll be able to send people messages across star systems so that you'll be able to group up. You'll also be able to fly places together. So what happens is, if I'm with some friends and I want to travel to a star, I can become the master jump drive, and they will slave their jump drives to mine, and we'll all jump together. If one of us gets an interdiction or a misjump, we all get an interdiction or a misjump. It should be cool. Just be wary of other players. There are a lot of noobs around, so you will need to protect yourself. And in future videos, I will cover lots of things like the systems, the weapons, upgrades, and particularly the controls and voice attack, and how all that thing works and how to set it up. So please don't ask me how you do it right now, because future videos I'm going to cover that. Anyway, launch.
Launch sequence
She's
initiated.
Not behaving very well, is she?
Landing gear retracted.
That is it for the first video, and I'm just going to fly out of this starport because I've only got 3 minutes left before I will start to be shot on. Quite literally, the starport will start to shoot me for being here on an unauthorised fashion. That is Elite Dangerous. It is 30 years since the original Elite. I really hope that you'll play it. I hope you'll back it, and I hope you'll have a huge amount of enjoyment out of it. I'm sure you will. Anyway, that's it from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please remember to give me a thumbs up if you did. I put a lot of effort into playing this game so that I could bring you loads of info and making that intro for you. Please back this game if you do think it should be a success. I hope you do. Until the next video, guys, take care and happy trading.